Everybody, you're right on time for an express trip on the Groove Line with your boy Chris Stevens. It's a Friday. Hopefully, you all are doing well out there. Hopefully, you're ready for your weekend. And we are going to review an album very quickly. We're going to take a quick trip through the garden. Rick James' Garden of Love, that is. This album came out July 16th, 1980, so it's officially 45 years old. And it's a album, well, I would call it an album before the album. You know, obviously, the album that came after it went on to become one of the greatest sellers of the 80s and Rick's Legend album. But Garden of Love, we're going to talk about this in the space of the early 80s, R&B, that funk mix and all of that, and just how that era was just a very interesting time. So by the time Rick releases Garden of Love in July of 1980, there's consternation afoot. You know, he's having trouble with renegotiating his contract with Berry Gordy and Motown. He's trying to find a groove again, because after Come Get It with the Stone City Band became a million seller, Fire It Up and Busting Out of L7 after that just sort of kind of like, and then, he had contractual obligations. So Garden of Love was, a quickie album, and it literally is about 35 to 40 minutes long. So if you're looking for an extended Rick James album, Garden of Love is not it. But what I can tell you about Garden of Love is it really got roasted in the press. And I'll give you guys a couple of reviews really quickly. This comes from Richard Kromnick of the Boston Globe, and this came out in August of 1980. Rick James continues to slip effortlessly into grooves, but on Garden of Love, he stays into them a bit too long. In Big Time, we're told that James was born to funk and roll in the big time at great length, but with no real interesting rhythmic or melodic foundation to keep it going. The opposite is true of Merry Go Round. In that song, James keeps shuffling a good half dozen themes, and the result is simultaneously hypnotic and exuberant funk. Island Lady has the feel of Stevie Wonder, which I honestly think it sounds like if it's magic, in my opinion. It has the feel of a Stevie Wonder ballad, but lacks the inventiveness. What it boils down to is that the songs Merry Go Round and Summer Love Accepted start off well, but run out of steam by having to lug the baggage of excess production, instrumentation, and length. The way James drags out the last phrase of Island Lady instead of leaving it at its splendid peak is the prime example of his tendency to overdo. Garden of Love is lush, sweet, and sometimes exciting, but weeding and pruning would have helped. And we got another review from that time period. This comes from Sal Caputo of the Courier News of Bridgewater, New Jersey from August 9th, 1980. Rick James' latest album is sure to be another hit for the singer-songwriter. Big Time, the first single called from the LP, is shooting up the charts already, even though it's a relatively mediocre song. In fact, the whole first side of this album seems a waste of time. Perhaps to fans of James' voice, the drawn-out balladeering of Don't Give Up on Love will sound fine. We'll talk about that in a minute. But his delivery sounds all wrong, and his lyrics are pretentiously cosmic, like Bad Rod McEwen. Island Lady, obviously meant to evoke the phantasmagoria of the album's cover art, woefully misses the point as well. Fortunately, James has a good backup in the Stone City Band and gives everyone a chance to play. So if you ignore the singing, Jesus Christ, there's something more happening than on the average dance record. Side 2 is much better. Summer of Love has an arrangement reminiscent of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, period. James' voice isn't strong enough to carry the song, but the background harmonies, the strong bass line, and the traditionally styled soulful guitar part are enjoyable. Even the song goes on a bit too long. It would be interesting to hear a harmony group like the Temptations tackle this song. The best moment on the album is the opening of Merry Go Round, which features a hard-pounding bit of riffing that gives way to a Stevie Wonder-ish light soul piece. Oscar Alston's bass line, which is mostly one note repeated, does differentiate into a part that's reminiscent of the best Motown lines. After the big opening riff repeats about midway through the song, Alston gets into a tough solo. Daniel Lamel also gets into a good but all too brief sax solo before James gets carried away in an arrangement that sounds cornily comedic as some Mothers of Invention pieces. Good grief. Getting It On in the Sunshine is just a throwaway piece which frames the other songs on the side. But the final moments of the song sound as if they were recorded at an after-hours party. This casual setting sounds better than most of the calculated moments on the record. My God, Sal. You were not a Rick James fan, were you, pal? Jeez Louise. So, yeah, Garden of Love got roasted on no uncertain terms. The album finished 17th on the R&B charts and was 83rd on the Billboard Top 100 in 1980. So, by Rick James and Motown standards, it was a flop. But I think it gives some of the best singing performances Rick has ever had. And I think what we miss about Rick James is he was criminally underrated as a balladeer, man, like a love song guy. I mean, we all know that Rick could get you on the dance floor, Rick could get you moving, Rick could get you rocking and rolling, but Rick could also set a scene for you too. And so with context, I'm going to play a clip from the late, great Gerald Levert, who, of course, had a birthday this week. He would have been 59 on July 13th. Rest in peace, Big G. And he's going to make a point that people are not going to catch until you listen to Garden of Love. But here's what Gerald had to say about Rick.
Rick James was a big Eddie Levert fan. Now you got to realize Rick James came out of Buffalo and through Cleveland, and would be here when they played Leo's Casino. Now me and Rick used to talk about this too, man. God bless his soul. Hey, everybody gone. But it's like Rick was. Whenever I'd see him, he would come up to me, just let me make love. It was a song the Jays did a long time. I'm like a shadow, stand in for love. Oh, it's all right. And if you listen to Rick, love them and leave them. That's what I used to do. That's all Eddie Levert. If you really think about it. And the funny thing, when I was younger, and they used to be doing those jazz festivals and all that stuff, my dad used to come home, and I was like, man, that Rick James is hot, times. Yeah, but he's stealing my stuff. He's stealing my stuff, and I don't like that. He's always coming in my room to ask me how to do this, and I keep telling him this. And then I guess one night, it was a night Rick didn't want to follow the Jays, because he was closing the show, and he wanted to switch off. And my dad said, "Well, you give me your money, and then we'll."
Oh man, God, we miss Gerald Levert, man. Great singer, great dude, as you can tell. But you heard his point. Rick James was an Eddie Levert fan, and Eddie Levert, God bless him, is still with us at 83 years old. I think the OJs just wrapped up their final tour, which sucks because I never got to see the OJs in person. But listen to Don't Give Up on Love from Garden of Love and tell me that you can't hear Eddie Levert doing that on an OJ's record. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Just listen to Don't Give Up on Love, even though that one reviewer just absolutely excoriated it. I love Don't Give Up on Love. Like Rick is just in a love man bag on that one. I mean, there's some great moments on Garden of Love. I mean, Big Time is a favorite. That one was co-written by Leroy Burgess, one of the great dance floor artists of all time. Matter of fact, Leroy's still doing it. He was on the most recent Tuxedo album, doing background vocals and piano work. So shout out to Mr. Leroy Burgess, an icon in the early 80s dance space in R&B. But he wrote Big Time for Rick. And there's Summer Love, Island Lady. Yeah, it does sound kind of Stevie-ish, but it's Stevie if Stevie had the vices that Rick had, basically. And Getting It On in the Sunshine is like, an interlude. It's like a break. The first version is like a 3-minute version, and then the outro is 40 seconds long. So it's an interlude and a reprise. So again, this album is really short. You're not going to get a ton of big time moments on it. Big time on the songs on there, but Garden of Love is an album that I feel definitely deserved a second look. It deserves more credit in the Rick James catalog, and I'll put the link in the description below and you guys let me know what you think. If you have a chance this Friday or this weekend, listen to Garden of Love, come back, let me know what you think. But if you have already listened to Garden of Love, we'd love to know what you thought about it when the album was new, when you were listening to it. Leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. But before we go, we do have some breaking news. In fact, we're going to have a lot of breaking news because OnTheGrooveLine has an official website now. We're no longer OnTheGrooveLine.wordpress.com. You can type OnTheGrooveLine.com directly into your web browser, and you can go straight to the website where I'll be sharing smaller reviews, news around the music industry, hopefully some interviews as well. So we are really getting this party train rolling, man. And I thank you guys that have come along for the ride so far. we just getting started. This is going to be a long ride. This is going to be a ongoing route. So stay tuned. But yes, OnTheGrooveLine.com is up. You can go check it out. You can see some of the stuff that I imported old stuff from the website, but new stuff will be coming in the next couple of days, as a matter of fact, because next week we're really going to hit the ground running, posting new reviews and new music and news of the music industry every day. So you'll definitely want to bookmark on thegrooveline.com. So yes, that is the big news for your Friday around here. So that's going to do it for this ride on the Groove Line. Greatly appreciate y'all as always. Contact information will be in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe, tap that notification bell so you get notified of all the new videos that drop on this channel. And once again, don't forget to like and comment on the videos. The more likes and comments we get, the more eyes and ears can be on this channel and this website, and this thing can grow into a train ride of epic proportions. So thank y'all for riding with me on the Groove Line. Enjoy your weekend, and until the next time we ride, y'all be good or be good at it.